Welcome to the Manx Theatre Podcast.
Come on to the theatre.
Hello, and welcome back to episode 68 of the Manx Theatre Podcast with me, Neil Callin. Thank you to everyone who's listened to our previous episodes. If you're brand new to the podcast, welcome along and thanks for joining us. In this podcast, we like to try and keep you up to date with what's going on in theatre on the Isle of Man, chatting to the cast and creatives of upcoming shows to find out a little more about the shows and the people behind them, and also what our Manx-born and bred performers are doing further afield.
Coming up on this week's podcast.
I caught up with Sarah Radcliffe and Linda Mann from the Service Players ahead of their production of Agatha Christie's A Murder is Announced, which opens at the Gaiety Theatre this Thursday, the 26th of June. You can still listen to all of our previous episodes through all the usual podcast outlets and at manxradio.com/podcasts. Whilst you're there, make sure to give us a like and click subscribe or follow or whatever it is you need to do to make sure you never miss an episode. No apologies if I sound a little bit croaky in this episode, but I've been full of a horrible cold this week. But, as they say, better now than 3 weeks' time when I'm in the theatre. Now, a few episodes ago, I gave a rundown on what some of our off-island Manxies are up to. But at that time, I wasn't able to tell you what Anne-Marie Crane was up to. Well, now it's been officially announced that she will be joining the cast of the brand new production of Miss Saigon on its UK tour. And she'll be performing as ensemble and the first cover for Ellen. The tour starts in Newcastle on the 4th of October and currently runs through to the 1st of August next year. Congratulations, Anne-Marie. Perry O'D is currently appearing in Evita at the London Palladium, which features Rachel Zegler in the lead role, and has recently come in for some criticism from theatregoers, as Rachel's performance of Don't Cry For Me Argentina is projected onto a screen on the stage every night, as she sings it from the balcony at the front of the Palladium to the passing crowds, rather than performing it in the theatre to those who have paid lots of money for tickets. Evita runs at the London Palladium for 12 weeks only and closes on Saturday the 16th of September. Matt Overfield can be seen as part of the ensemble of Disney's electrifying new musical Hercules at the Theatre Royal Drury Lane, which has just extended its run through until March 2026. Matt is also first cover for Hades' henchman, Pain and Panic, so if you're lucky, you may get to see him in one of those roles. The recording of Disney's Frozen musical, featuring Samantha Barks in the lead role of Queen Elsa, is now available to view on Disney+. And according to my app, it's currently trending as #1 in the Isle of Man. I wonder why. Speaking of Samantha, breaking news, Samantha has just posted on social media to announce the birth of her daughter over the weekend. We send huge congratulations to Sam, her husband Alex, and big brother Rafi on the safe arrival of Felicity. Back on the island, the audition application deadline for DCU's 2026 revival of Guys and Dolls has just closed, and auditions will be held this weekend on the 27th to the 29th of June. Good luck everybody who's taking part. If they have as many applications as they did for Chicago, this is going to be a busy weekend for David Dawson and his team. The Manx Operatic Society have just announced that the registration period for auditions for their May 2026 production of Legally Blonde is now open. There's a link on their Facebook page to register and see the audition material, which I've shared on the podcast page. The deadline for registrations is the 6th of October, with auditions to be held from the 10th to the 12th of October. Congratulations to the cast of the Arts Hub's production of the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. I went to see the Saturday evening performance and thoroughly enjoyed myself. There's a few names on that cast list that I'm sure we'll be keeping an eye on for the future. Congratulations also go to Jenny Derbyshire, whose play Shelter, which won the one-act class at Madford's Easter Festival this year, was put forward for the Derek Jacobi Playwriting Award, and won. Not only does Jenny win a shiny trophy and £250, but she also won 2 full tickets to the National Drama Festival and a publication deal from Stage Scripts, and a bottle of bubbly from Nidva. Well done, Jenny. Rehearsals are well underway for Two Feathers' Little Shop of Horrors and Taylorian's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, with Two Feathers only having a couple of weeks until they're in the theatre. As such, I'll be catching up with a few of my fellow castmates in the next episode. With any luck, I'll also be able to grab a chat with some of the cast of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in a future episode too. Well, that's it for now, but make sure you keep up to date with what's going on between episodes by following Manx Theatre Podcast on both Facebook and Instagram.
You're listening to the Manx Theatre Podcast.
It's time to dim the house lights and raise the curtain on this week's chat. I'm joined now by Sarah Radcliffe and Linda Mann from the Service Players ahead of their production of Agatha Christie's A Murder is Announced, which is playing at the Gaiety Theatre from the 26th to the 28th of June. Ladies, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
And this is a first time for both of you as well, isn't it?
Yes, on a podcast. Yes,
We're getting lots of people now, because we've been going for nearly 6 years now. No, we have been going for 6 years because our birthday was back in March. We are officially 6 years old. That we're getting lots of people now who are going back for the second and third time, or Lisa Kreisky and Chrissy Sutcliffe are back for their 7th time, I think, with the shows, because they've done that many shows. They're coming back again and again. But ladies, welcome along for your very first time.
Thank you very much.
So you're here today to talk about the Service Players production of Agatha Christie's A Murder is Announced, on in just a few short weeks' time.
Less than,
yes. So it'll be here before we know it. So give us an idea of the story. What can we expect?
Oh, without spoilers, that's going to be difficult.
Murders.
Or give us the setup.
Set up in a very small little village, quite boring. A notice goes into the bottom of the personal column of the local rag, the Chipping Click-On Gazette, and it says that
A murder is announced
Oh,
it's going to take place at Little Paddocks
at 6:30 p.m. on Friday, the 13th of October.
oh,
This will be the only.
Intimation.
right. So presumably then, lots of people see this and they're all excited about it, so they all turn up.
The whole village.
Yes, the whole village turns up. I'm assuming it's everyone's gathered in the room, lights go out, and suddenly someone's dead.
Yes.
And suddenly there are 25 possible suspects.
Well,
Not quite 25.
Not quite that many, because,
lots anyway.
Because the vicar can't go because he's having dinner with the bishop.
Right, okay.
And the colonel can't.
And the
he's
colonel
away.
can't.
No.
Yeah, but he has that problem anyway,
Yeah,
doesn't he?
so,
So,
yeah.
to be fair.
But there is, it's just a lovely play, lovely characters, and it's every twist and turn. Typical Agatha Christie.
It's pure Agatha Christie.
You just think, oh, it's got to be her.
Yeah.
It's got to be him.
And
Then, boom,
yeah.
boom.
Yeah, and
it's
it's
not her.
unlike Witness to the Prosecution, which we did the last Agatha, because it's not. It has more of the humour of Christie.
Yeah.
And the characters, they're very.
Yeah, I think
grounded.
it's not a serious Agatha Christie.
But
Yeah.
I play Bunny.
Right.
Dora Bunner, and she is very forgetful. So she's the one that will most probably, she puts her foot in it all the time. So everybody's going, oh, so it's got a comedy,
It's
sort
got
of
a
thing to
comedy
it.
element, but also it's got that psychological nastiness that,
Right.
that Agatha managed to get.
Mm.
And without spoiling anything, the end, you sort of sit there thinking, what? Really? Wow, wasn't expecting that.
You've got to listen to it because
Yeah.
it's one of those where, well, it is an Agatha because there's clues all the way along. And then you've got a clue and you think, well, it's definitely her.
Yeah.
You've got another clue, it's definitely him. So it's a lovely play. I think it's one of the nicest ones I've read for a long time. And I read Agatha Christie books when I was very young. I loved them. Yeah, it's a page turner, isn't
Yeah.
it?
I mean, this book originally came out, I think it was 1950.
Yeah.
But this is an adaptation by Leslie Darban.
That's right.
And looking at his website, he seems to have done lots of sort of murder mystery type adaptations from books into plays.
But it is very close to the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
It is. It is very, very close to the original. I hate it when they change. They almost change the ending and
Yes.
who did it, but it is very close to the book.
Yeah, quite often that happens when there's a film version as well, or a TV
Don't
adaptation.
get me started. Don't get me started.
Because that was with the last one you were saying before. I think the ending of the play and the film were slightly different because it wants to leave it on a slightly happier note than the quite original dark note from the film. But there was a TV adaptation of this.
There was, yes, and Elaine Page played my part. So God help me.
Elaine Page?
Yes,
Wow.
Elaine Page played
Dame
my part.
Elaine
yes.
Page.
Dame. Sorry, I beg your pardon.
And she is this week, yes, announcing the
Yes,
King's
they
Honours
did.
list.
That's lovely, actually, because she has done a lot for the musical business, hasn't
Yeah.
she? Yes.
And a lot of charity work as well.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
But yeah, back in it was 1985, I think it was. It was Joan Hickson playing Marple.
Right.
And I think that's
She was the archetypal Marple.
it was the Marple of my childhood.
Yes. I don't think anyone's done it better.
I don't
You're
know.
going to get complaints from now.
Stephanie Gray might play it better than most.
Well, yes, I'm looking forward to it. So Stephanie then is playing the role of Miss Marple.
She is indeed.
She's brilliant.
And
Yeah.
it's
Really,
lovely
really good.
because Steph and I sat next to each other in English at Ballacameen. and we always vied for the lead parts.
Right.
But this is actually the first time we'll have been on stage together since 1977.
Wowzers.
Yeah, 77 or 76. Yeah. Well, yeah, so it's a long time.
It is a long time. We're not going to mention how long because
No, well, you know.
I was born 78, so
Yeah.
I know exactly how long that is.
Oh, thanks. Thank you, Neil.
Okay. Okay. Can we just move swiftly on now?
Yes, moving swiftly on, yes. So other members of the cast, we have Letitia Blacklock is being played by Rachel Martin.
Fantastic, yeah. She loves doing the straight plays. Whereas I normally do the comedy, as you know. Rachel, for the service players, has always had the lead. This is her 4th Agatha Christie. So,
Right.
yeah, she's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, yeah. She's got so many lines to learn, bless her.
Yes, yeah. That's the worst thing with having one of the lead roles is there's so many more lines to learn, especially in a straight play. And you look at them and I've been sat in a dressing room backstage on a musical, learning lines for a play that I'm going to be doing in a few weeks' time, and people come and go, "Where's the songs? Where's the dance routines?" When it's a play.
Yeah.
I think that was Gary Chattle actually. That
was
that
it?
question. The Eternal Song and Dance Man.
Oh, yes.
So we've already established. Then you're playing Dora Bunny Bunner,
Bunner, yeah.
and what's her role in it? What's her part?
Her role, she is Letty's best friend from childhood, and she's come to live with her because she's destitute, basically.
Right.
So she helped rescue her, so she's her best friend.
Right.
But she's very, very forgetful and gets things very, very confused.
That sounds like it could be a plot point.
Oh,
Tight-lipped on that one, so yes, I think that we're clearly
Say
on the
no
right.
more.
Say no more. Say no more. Indeed.
I think we need a drum roll.
Patrick Simmons is played by Ben Davenport.
Yes, Ben joined the service players a couple of years ago, I think, and he's loving it. He's loving being a service player, I think, and he's always on time and he's at every rehearsal, so he gets 10 out of 10 from me.
He was brilliant in Girl on the Train.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he was
Very
in
good.
he was Professor Plum in Clue
That's
last
right.
year as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes,
and he did a Girl on the Train as well.
yes, and I think he was also in Macbeth earlier this year as well.
There with Dan.
Yeah. Okay. I'm assuming his wife, Julia Simmons.
No,
No. Is played by is Rachel Jockin is Julia Simmons.
That's
sister.
it, sister.
Sister. Oh, sister. Okay.
And Rachel has her first service players play was Hello Hello, and she's just fantastic. She takes part with the service players. She's just done Talking Heads. She's just done what was before.
She did the
that?
Easter Festival.
She did the Easter Festival. I don't know how she does it. She's
Yeah.
got a very understanding husband.
Yeah, and she always seems to be like she'll do a play, and then in 2 weeks later she's in another one.
I know. I
And
don't know
then
how she
And
does
they're
weeks
all
after that, she's in
completely
another
different
one.
characters.
Yes.
Yeah. No, she's brilliant, and we love having her as a service player. She's a good girl.
Yeah, I've done a few with Rachel, and she's great to be on stage
Yeah,
with.
she's lovely.
There's a great energy in her performance
Yes.
as well. So
Yeah. And
great.
she's always word perfect. Hint, Rachel.
no pressure. Philippa Hames, Sarah Elder.
I don't know much about Sarah.
I
I haven't
acted
acted with her before.
I think the first time I acted with Sarah was when I was Nanny Ogg in Weird Sisters, and she was behind the wagon. She's very good.
Yes,
very
I mean I've done quite a
conscientious.
few shows with
She's
Sarah,
more musical, I think.
She is,
when
yeah.
I've
She is.
talked to Sarah, she's done a lot of the musicals, hasn't she?
and she did One Man Two Governors, which was two years
Yeah.
ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, yes, I wasn't in that. But we need to congratulate her. She's just got the lead in the Peel Panto. What is it? She's Robin Hood, anyhow.
Oh right, yeah, the Peel Pantaloons, yes.
Pantaloons,
All right,
thank
yes.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
so she's got the lead in that. So
Fantastic.
she's good all-rounder.
Sarah and I have performed many times together, and we've been romantically linked on stage.
Oh, I was just
On
about to
stage,
say.
just want to make that clear. On stage 4 times.
Oh, I was going to say scandalous, but I can't now.
I think I can also almost remember them all. There was Jekyll and Hyde, One Man Two Governors,
Yeah.
Diary of Adrian Mole. I can't remember the other one. I'll work that out. We'll let you know.
We'll think about it.
Yes, but yeah, Sarah, she's fantastic. She's great. Mrs. Swettenham or
Sweetenham.
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 You're looking
Linda,
at
that's
her,
it.
yes.
me.
That's
That's
Linda.
me. Yes.
So who's Mrs. Sweetenham?
Mrs. Sweetenham is what they would call a nosy neighbour, but I think because she lived in Italy, because her husband was in the diplomatic service over there, she would have been part of the cafe society. So she
Right.
just likes to watch people and she likes to be involved, but most people just think she's nosy. And she has a henpecked son called Edmund, who is... He comes across as being slightly downtrodden, but he has hidden depths, naughty lad.
Oh,
I think so, yes. I think she has to keep an eye on him.
the plot thickens.
The plot thickens.
So Edmund, then your son, is played by Daniel Carroll Calling.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's lovely.
He's
I've never acted with him before.
No.
But what a nice lamb.
He seems quite new to the scene. I mean, it's not a name that I've come across
done
many
Mac-
times before.
He
Beth,
did
hasn't he? He's
Macbeth,
just done
yeah.
Macbeth.
I
And
think
Yes.
he played Duncan.
in Midsummer Night's Dream with me that we're doing, obviously, with
For
Neil
Madford.
Callin playing.
Yeah.
For Madford.
You have to watch him, though, because he tries to make you laugh.
Oh, he's very nice.
Yes.
Sounds like Toby.
Yes, I know.
Although Toby's not in this cast, is he?
He's not in the cast,
No?
no, because he's doing the 2 Shakespeares this year.
Right, of course, yes. Yes, so that explains why he's been away this week.
Well, it was his wife's birthday.
Indeed it was. But it's not the first time he's been away 2 weeks before the show, so... Moving swiftly on. The role of Mitzi is played by Vivian Toro.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Oh, she's
Firecracker. as
she
we
is a
called her.
firecracker. The last time I acted with her, I mean, that was the Easter Festival, and she was playing the devil.
Right, yes.
And she
in Cubicle.
was just, yes, in Cubicle. I played Satan, and she was just amazing. She's got this sort of little voice, and then all of a sudden it's big, and you're scared, and you're sitting there thinking, what's she going to do next?
She's playing Hungarian.
Yeah.
And bless her, she's actually learned, because there are some words in Hungarian
Yeah.
in the play.
And she
she's
comes
learnt
out
them.
with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
And
learnt
she
them.
just-
Yeah, she's
she
phoned
just
a friend
goes off on one.
who is Hungarian to get the right
Yeah.
words and everything. And yeah, she's great. She's lovely. She is our little firecracker.
I mean, small in stature, large in character.
Oh yes,
that's
you
perfect.
would not want to get on the wrong side, just in case you put something in your coffee.
The only thing you have to learn with Viv, you mustn't prompt her, because she knows her lines.
Yes.
But she might just pause, and if you come in and say, I know my line.
Just acting.
Yes. She's brilliant.
Yeah,
She's very funny.
I've done a few with Viv. Viv was in One Man, Two Governors with us 2 years ago, and she
Yeah.
was also in the Easter
When
Festival
we
that I've
did-
done as well. Lost the Plot. No, not Lost the
No,
Plot.
when
The Photograph.
we did Photograph
Yes.
together, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a great one. We won.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yes, award-winning.
Fantastic writing by Lisa, yeah.
But you have to watch the character she's playing though, because she never ever tells the truth.
Oh,
She is an inveterate liar, isn't she? And fantasist.
right. Okay.
So is she telling the truth? Is she not?
So you never trust anything that comes out of her mouth.
Well, you can, but
But can you?
is it? But can you? Yeah.
Da-da-da-da.
Ta-da.
And so the plot twists again.
It is. It does.
Inspector Craddock is played by Chris Kane.
Oh, well, what can we say about Chris Kane? We
Well,
all go
indeed.
silent. Chris is directing as well, which
Yep.
is fantastic. Well, I've known Chris since I was a little girl, going through choir together, and Stephanie. So it's a lovely family. You know, we've all known each other for a long time. And Chris was the reason I joined the Service Players when I came back to the Isle of Man back in 1987. I joined the Service Players, and I asked Chris. Yeah, so he's a good friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good friend.
So Inspector Craddock, then I guess he's the legitimate police presence within
He
the
is.
investigation.
Yes. Yeah.
Along with Sergeant Mellors, played by
Bob.
Bob Witcher.
Yeah. Bob's been in the Service Players quite a few years now. And he's so good. He's only got, he hasn't got a massive part in this, but he's going to do prompt for us as well. So he's great. He's an all-rounder.
Yes.
He's always happy to help. Whatever you need, Bob was always there to help.
You can always rely on Bob to pick up the small parts here and
Yeah,
there.
but he's happy to help
Yes.
backstage, do anything. You know, without people like that,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have a
Build
service.
the set,
He
paint
always
the
steps
set.
in
Yeah.
for everybody.
Oh, yes.
But if you want him to read a part, then he's there helping you get the lines.
Excellent. And then the last person on the list that I've got is, you're going to have to help me out here, Shares?
Rudy Shirts.
Rudy Shirts.
Rudy Shirts.
Well, that is Rachel Jockin's son.
Yes, Callum made a little bit of a cameo in One Man Two.
Well, this is a very little cameo as well. So we've only seen him a couple of times, bless him. But yes, Rachel just said, he'll do it. So he had no choice, bless him.
If he knows what's good for him, he'll do it.
Yeah. So he has got a very small part, but yeah, it's a main.
It's very important.
part.
It's very important.
Yes.
So you mentioned there that Chris invited you, or you spoke to Chris and you got back involved with the service plays when you came back to the island. But how did you get started in the first place?
At school?
Yeah.
Primary school, when I was about 9 or 10, I did Joseph and his
Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
That's
Yeah.
the one. With Simon Fletcher
Yeah.
and all the likes. So we've all gone. So that was my first one. Then I went to Ballacameen. And I had the most amazing teachers, Pam Clark, who unfortunately passed away this year, but at 100.
Where was this?
Janet Norris, Jenny Cooley.
Yeah.
And, who's the other one? Anyway, it'll come to me. But
Yep.
I had the most amazing teachers, Kathy Lambie.
Kathy Lambie, yes.
And they were just wonderful. And I think Pam Clark, she was my English teacher, and she saw something in me and pushed me. But in those days, I'm going back to the 70s, you couldn't take GCSE or
No.
O-level drama. You could only do it as a hobby.
Yeah.
And I'd already decided what I was going to do. As you all know, I joined the Royal Navy. But I carried on in the Royal Navy. And I always had, because I was surrounded by men. Oh, what a shame. So I always got male parts as well, because they did plays with, So I did Oliver, and I played Oliver.
Right.
And then, as I say, when I came back out of the Navy, I joined the Service Players.
Yeah.
And the rest is history. I've never really, I haven't done a play with anybody else but the Service Players.
What's been your favourite role that you've played over the years?
Well, that's easy to say, isn't it? I did Edith in Hello, Hello.
Of course, yes. Stupid woman.
Yes.
That was a fantastic production.
That was my best. I think that was a change in my knowing what my capabilities were, and that I was 49, not 59, I was 49, and Alex Brindley was casting it, and I thought, I still might get one of the glammy parts, but no, I got Edith. So I sat down and I thought, well, welcome to 50s. Yes, so that was that.
I mean, there comes a point in all our lives when we have to appreciate that we're no longer the young leads, and we're now firmly into the parent roles. I recently have made that transition myself. I'm now suddenly realising that with playing Mr. Mushnick in Little Shop of Horrors later next month, that I am firmly in the dad role now. No longer in the youthful leads anymore. I am in the dad role, and it struck me at rehearsals the other week as we were doing our vocal warm ups at the start. For some reason, I don't know why, but I was just looking around the room and I suddenly thought, older than you, older than you, older than you. I am the oldest person in the cast.
Are you?
And it's becoming more often now as well. It's certainly with some of the plays as well that it is becoming more
than me.
It's becoming more common that I am the oldest member of the cast, which is slightly worrying, because for many, many years I was the youngest.
I know it is. It's a funny transition, isn't it? Really,
it's like, suddenly, when did that happen?
Yeah. But it's lovely to still be cast.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, how about yourself, Linda? How did you get started?
Oh, same, school.
Yeah.
We used to have Shakespeare festivals and things. It was across, and just sort of kept it up until I got transferred over here through work, and I was part of the Legion Players. Sorry.
No, we're all good friends together.
Yes, I know. So started off with them, and you're quite right. You start off doing sort of young parts in skimpy little miniskirts and long coats, and then you end up doing people like, Nanny Ogg, who's a wonderful old baggage. I love her.
I'm not a person that's been sort of faithful to one society. I mean, for many years I did stick with the Manx Operatic Society, but then I switched over to the DCU for a few years, but then I've done stuff with the Albany, with the Service Players, the Legion Players. I mean, there's not many groups that I haven't done something with. I think Parados is kind of the last one on my list that I want to tick off.
You need to do them Shakespeare then, don't
Yes,
you?
yes. Yeah, it is an itch that I'm desperate to scratch, but
Yeah.
at the moment it's just never quite fitting in with everything else that I need to do, which is quite considerable at the moment. So
I think I always stuck with the service plays because obviously I liked farce.
Yeah.
And when I first started out with the service plays, the Legion did the straight plays.
Yes.
And now obviously Legion have sort of, well, I don't think there's much, I think with Olga going and
Yeah.
everything. So we sort of done straight and comedy now, but that's why I'm most probably stuck with service plays all the time because I just love making people laugh.
Yes.
Taking the mick out of myself.
what would you say is your most memorable show or memorable role that you've played, other than Edith, maybe?
Oh, Blithe Spirit, because I played the second wife. And I still remember going on stage and the second bit coming back from the dead, sort of covered in this green paint and these things. And I heard this bloke in the front row going, "Oh, she was bad enough when she was alive. Oh, she's horrid now she's dead." And you can hear them, can't you? And I felt like going down with a wet fish. But, yeah.
Yeah, I think one of my favourite other plays was Chorus of Disapproval, and I think your wife Emma and your mother-in-law was in it.
Yeah.
And we had a massive cast, and I think that was lovely to have so many age groups.
Yeah.
I was one of the younger ones then. I was in most probably my late 20s at the time. But Daphne Kane, Chris's wife, and myself, we just had to kiss Stephen Palfreyman. Well, that was a very difficult thing to do.
Must have been awful for you.
Yeah, it was awful, yeah.
That-
But yeah, that was a great play
Yeah.
because of the diversity of it, of the cast,
Yeah.
and the age.
Sorry, I had to throw that in.
So is there there are lots of different shows, lots of different groups and societies with budgets of varying levels. Is there a costume that sticks out in your mind as either being good or particularly bad?
A costume?
Yes.
Oh, I'll go first, yes. Who Goes Bare, when I had to appear on stage totally naked, bar a long blonde wig and a tennis racket. And I have to say, the tennis racket did have a cover on it, and it was positioned. Yeah, so that was lack of costume.
Lack of
I would
costume,
say.
yes. What about a good costume? What's been your favourite costume?
Coming on as Hitler in Hello, Hello. Yeah.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, and I could hear all my friends absolutely bawling their heads off in the audience, and it actually made me miss a line.
Yeah.
But yes.
I mean, I've been there before with plays when I think it was a Ray Cooney farce. It was Rookery Nook. And you rehearse and you rehearse and you rehearse and you rehearse and you forget that was it. Rookery Nook, that was the other one with Sarah Elder. That was the other one where we were romantically
you've
linked.
got it.
There we go. Knew it would come in the end.
Now. There you go.
But no, you sort of rehearse and rehearse and rehearse, and you kind of forget how funny some of these lines are. And my mate John has a very distinct low cackle, and I delivered one of my lines, and all I could hear from the audience was, and I thought, oh yeah, it's funny that one, isn't it? And then as I'm going along, I'm going, he's going to like this one as well. And it's like, blah, 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 blah. There we go. So just suddenly distracted with that moment going, he's going to like this one as well. Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, I know I just try not to look out into the audience, because if you see somebody, it does, but when you hear somebody laugh that you know very well, you go, oh gosh, they're in the audience, yeah.
I mean, everyone knows Hello, Hello as well. And I'd watched Hello, Hello since I was a child. And I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before. So with people that you've listened to all of our episodes, sorry, I'm going to tell the story again. But it was during the Service Players production, that it finally dawned on me the reason why English policeman Officer Crabtree is speaking such bad English is because everyone else is speaking perfect fluent French, and it's his bad French that we're hearing translated into English. I'm like, why? You could have heard the thunk of the penny as it dropped. I'm like, why has it taken this long for me to realise that?
Oh, Howard.
Yes.
Howard, wasn't it?
Fantastic,
Howard
yes.
Kane, yeah. Brilliant.
How about yourself? Is there any sort of costumes that you've loved or hated throughout your productions?
I think the one I really loved the most was when I played the housekeeper in Hound of the Baskervilles. Mm-hmm. And when in the good old days when you could go and you could sit in with the audience of dress rehearsals or when they played the whole thing, and just watch everybody.
Yeah.
And my eldest daughter was up there, and I had the full wig and I had a sort of housekeeper's hat, a big Victorian costume. It was all in black, and I full makeup on. And I sort of walked around the side, and I sat down next to her, and she turned around to me and she said, "You can't sit there." And I went, "Why?" And she said, "Because that's for my mummy." And I went, "Emma," and she screamed and shot up because I was scary.
Yeah.
So it was a bit like being visited by the woman in black. But I think that's probably, yeah.
And you had a fantastic costumes for the cubicle in the one-act plays. I
Oh,
thought
yes.
your costumes in that were amazing.
Oh, and I had the white stick as well.
Right.
Yeah.
But there was a fantastic production of Hand of the Baskervilles done over here 15, 20 years ago maybe now. And it was done like a bit of promenade theatre. So it started in Marketplace in Peel, at the sort of the ruins of the church there, and you followed it down and into the grounds of Peel Castle. Then you followed them around Peel Castle in a few places, and then when they're shining the light out on the moor,
We ought to do Dracula like that.
someone was halfway up Peel Hill with a lamp shining it. Oh, it was fantastic, and it got dark and it got really eerie. Oh, it was brilliant.
No.
I did see Dracula in Peel Castle as well, and it absolutely poured down, but it really made it feel that much more atmospheric.
Ooh, yeah.
Cold, wet,
Cold.
but it was really
about to
good.
say. I remember sitting there watching one of the Shakespeare ones when they were all done at Peel Castle, and the rain just pouring down the back of your neck, and you sat there. We all just disappeared to the creek, I think, at half time.
Sounds like a sensible idea. So, there's been many shows over many years. Quite often, certainly when the Kane boys are involved,
Oh, yes.
things
Oh, yes.
don't always go to plan.
No.
Is there a particular incident that sticks in your mind that was particularly memorable, good or bad?
I'm not quite sure if I could say that.
Go on.
Go on, you know you want to. He'll do you good.
I think the funniest, and I think Howard would agree to this, was when it was Who Goes Bear, and obviously Howard and I were always bear. I think the backstage crew got right view of everything, but we were in a cupboard at one point, and I had obviously the long blonde wig on and the tennis racket, whatever, and Howard had to. He said, "Where's my undies?" And I said, "What?" And I turned round. Well, there you go. I'm not saying anymore. And he was taking back his undies to go. I was going, "Oh my God, you can't go." And we had this picture, and Chris had to throw a tennis ball.
Yeah.
And he had to sort of drop the pitcher, catch the ball, and catch the. Oh, we did it every night.
Yeah.
But it was one of those.
A miracle.
It was a bit dangerous, really. But yes, it was just when he said, "Where's my undies?" I was like.
So more than expected
to. Oh God, we did. And the best bit was we had Wiley McDowell. Oh my God, we had such characters in those days. And Wiley was playing. He must have changed about 8 times.
Yeah.
And oh God, you know. They were just great. Jack Hampson, your mother-in-law, you know.
I mean, I've heard so many wonderful stories from Carol about Wiley. I wish I'd had a chance to know him, but
they were just, and that's what made me stick with the service players. Hig, you know, everybody, Elaine. We just had. It has changed a little bit in those days. And I know I shouldn't reminisce because we do such brilliant things now, but we used to go rehearse at the Falcon. And always have a drink.
Yeah.
You know, and always stay after rehearsals. Everybody's rushing home now, families and things. And we used to stay.
When you rehearse in the church, the bar isn't necessarily open.
No, exactly. Yeah. But they were big characters in the Isle of Man theatre world, and they're very, very much missed.
Yes.
Yeah. There's nobody like them anymore.
No. Is there any particular incidents that when you've been on stage that stick to mind?
Yeah. We did this farce called Keeping Down with the Joneses about being stuck in a nuclear bunker.
It's always a farce, isn't it?
It was.
Well, they're the best. You do have a laugh in rehearsals.
Right at the end of Act 1, all the shutters go down because somebody presses the wrong button and we realise we can't get out.
Yeah.
And one of the chaps, the one that owns it, says, "Well, we'd better all have a drink then." And normally you get a big tumbler, and it was Coke and tea. And we had a new props mistress. And I can say this because I think she's now no longer with us. And she'd got a bit confused about props because she'd never done them before.
Right.
and I had brandy and somebody had rum and vodka, and she'd put real alcohol in the decanters.
Ooh.
So
Oh,
we
wow.
poured ourselves out a big, you all
A healthy
had to
measure.
pick it, very, very healthy measure. It was downed in one. And as it was going down, we all looked at each other with horror because we realised it was real. And we all came
That
off.
lovely burning sensation.
It was, and you
Or
just couldn't
warming,
do
I
anything
should say.
about it. And I remember we all came off going, for God's sake, where's the coffee? And we were just drinking black coffee for the next quarter of an hour. And I honestly can't remember what happened the second act.
Because I always
think
think,
we got through it.
whenever you see people on TV and they always pour themselves a big healthy measure of whiskey, and then they always neck it back and there's no reaction. But, you know, when
There
you...
was
Oh, it's
then.
really-
There was then.
Gets you, it
Yeah.
just comes here, doesn't
Well, takes
it?
your breath
It's
away,
all
doesn't it?
burning here, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
And it was just, but it was the shock on
Yeah.
everybody's faces.
Oh,
And you realise
absolutely.
that it wasn't just us.
And Auntie Jean used to say to us, it was the first thing, no alcohol before going on stage.
Yeah, I always hear these stories of the dressing room number 5 upstairs being the bar.
No,
I'm sure there's plenty of stories to be told about that from...
plenty to drink after.
Oh, yes.
Not before.
Not before, no.
Maybe just a medicinal port, just to
Well, no, it's
warm the
bad
throat.
enough trying to remember the lines beforehand without
know.
being slightly tipsy.
Boring thing as you get older.
Okay, so way back in 2020, when this global pandemic hit, we started up a Spotify playlist, and this is our playlist of our Ultimate Musical Theatre playlist. So all the best songs to put into one playlist for you to enjoy. And Neil King, who was my co-host at the time, we each put 10 songs in to get the list started, because 2 songs is a very short and boring playlist. And we chose songs that were songs that we've sung in shows, songs that from shows that we really like, or songs that mean something special to us. So in my list, there is Suddenly Seymour from Little Shop of Horrors, which is a role that I never got to play because the show always came around at the wrong time for me. So I'm sadly now too old for Seymour. But I've got Mr. Mushnick to come up anyway. So Seasons of Love from Rent.
Lovely.
That was sung by a group of friends at our wedding, which was fantastic.
Aww.
And Not While I'm Around was a song that I sang as Tobias Ragg in Sweeney Todd way back in about 2004. It was one of my first sort of big lead roles with the Manx Operatic Society. So other songs on the list, other choices we have is Hannah Clinton chose One Day More from Les Miserables. Danny Bryson chose Fabulous Baby from Sister Act. Mark Doherty has chosen Father to Son from Falsettos. Toby Smith chose Future Boy from Back to the Future the Musical. And Lisa Smith chose Little Girls from Annie. So, ladies, what are the songs that you would like to add and why?
Well, I'm just going to give you a bit of a laugh, really. You know, I'm going to say, give me a Man After Midnight with Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
I've just been to see ABBA Voyage twice.
Lovely.
I just love ABBA. I'm a 70s, I'm just mad about ABBA. I love it. So, yeah, just to give you a bit of a laugh, it's got to be that song.
It's a great fun song as well.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, Julie Walters.
Yes. Brilliant. Lovely. Perfect. Linda, what about you?
Radio Gaga.
From We Will Rock You.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I have to change the words, but I just love that song because it's so cheerful.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I was mentioned earlier that I did this in a Taylorian concert a couple of years ago. It was like a Sunday night at the Gaiety, and we've got Radio Gaga's on. I thought, all right, I know the words for that. And then suddenly realised that they've changed a lot of the lyrics for the show, and suddenly we're talking about downloads and MP3s,
Yeah.
and it's like,
I just remember him 1986, 85, 86, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What was the big concert they did?
Live Aid.
Live Aid.
Yeah.
And that was the one, and he got everybody
yes,
clapping and everything. It was absolutely amazing. Yeah.
brilliant. Right, ladies, well, I'll get those added onto the list for you. So, A Murder is Announced is playing at the Gaiety Theatre from Thursday the 26th to Saturday the 28th of June for 3 evening performances starting at 7:30pm. If you've not booked your tickets yet, you can get them from villagaiety.com or by calling 600 555. Sarah, Linda, thanks once again for joining me on the podcast. And I wish you and everyone at the Service Players involved with A Murder is Announced all the very best for your run.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're listening to the Manx Theatre Podcast with Neil Callin.
This episode has been made possible by funding from the Isle of Man Arts Council. For full details of the funding available and the application deadlines, check out their website at iomarts.com. Let's have a quick look forward at what's still to come this year. First up, as we've already mentioned, is the Service Players with A Murder is Announced, which opens this Thursday, the 26th of June, at the Gaiety Theatre and runs till Saturday the 29th. On the 12th to the 19th of July, Two Feathers present Little Shop of Horrors at the Gaiety Theatre, with Jack Divers as Seymour, Meg Walker as Audrey, Charlie Williams as the dentist, and myself as Mr. Mushnick. Taylorian productions are next at the Gaiety Theatre with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which runs from the 31st of July to the 9th of August. Paradox Theatre Company have just advertised a new production for August. This is a brand new play called In Their Blood, which was written by the 2022 young actor of Mann, Ori Wilson. This dramatic play, set in 1833, revolves around the lives of miners and their families in the Isle of Man. It explores themes of ambition, love, betrayal, and the harsh realities of life in a mining community. No doubt we'll have a chat with Ori, and most likely Charlie Williams, closer to the time. Tickets are now on sale for Madford's production of A Midsummer Night's Dream, which will be performed in the grounds of Government House on the 5th, 6th and 7th of September. Tickets are available from Ticket Source, and there's a link on Madford's Facebook page, which I've also shared to the podcast page. On the 5th of October at the Ville Marina, Stage Ed present The Musicals in Concert, featuring Stephen Palfreman and his West End chums and students from their summer holiday stage school, bringing you all the hits from the West End and Broadway. Centre Stage Productions are bringing the band to the stage of the Gaiety from the 10th to the 18th of October, all set to a backdrop of Take That's greatest hits. The Service Players are back again for a second time this year and presenting Henrik Ibsen's A Doll's House, directed by Daniel Sebastian Gray at the Balcomine Studio Theatre from the 20th to the 22nd of November. Then, before we know it, it's Christmas again, and the Peel Pantaloons will be performing Robin Hood at the Centenary Centre in Peel in early December, and Stage Ed are back with Cinderella, which runs at the Gaiety from the 19th to the 31st of December. So there's still lots to look forward to this year, and I'm sure there are other smaller events that I'm not currently aware of that I will fill you in with closer to the time. Well, with that, we bring episode 68 to a close, and we wish everyone involved with the Service Players production of Agatha Christie's A Murder is Announced all the very best for opening night and their run. Don't forget to check out the Spotify playlist by searching for Manx Theatre Podcast, and that's all one word. There are 116 tracks on there now, and almost 8 hours of show tunes to satisfy your musical theatre needs. If you have any events that you'd like me to talk about or promote in a future episode, you can contact me through the podcast social media accounts or by email to manxtheatrepodcast@gmail.com. All that remains to say thanks for listening, and I hope you join me again next time. I've been Neil Callin, and you've been listening to the Manx Theatre Podcast. Goodbye.
The Manx Theatre Podcast, taking a look behind the scenes of Manx Theatre.
And happier than actors alive for me.